This week, PMI has launched the revised modified PMI-ACP. And in this video, I am exploring various things which are related to PMI-ACP, which can help you in making decision that should you do PMI-ACP in order to advance your career and agile knowledge. First, let me share about my view on PMI-ACP program. I did my PMI-ACP in 2012. I was very passionate about promoting it. That's the time I started the training as well. And initially, I used to do PMI-ACP trainings only. But over a period of time, I saw the PMI was not putting the desired amount of investment in the PMI-ACP and my interest reduced. I can say that they did a little modification in the content in 2014. And after that, for next 10 years, there was no modification. And there was very less effort put for the promotion of this particular program. So my participants were not getting the desired branding value, which they should get because of doing PMI's Agile certification. So I reduced my exposure to PMI-ACP, but with new PMI-ACP and with the focus PMI putting on PMI-ACP, even when I go to homepage of PMI now, I see a promotion of PMI-ACP. I am reconsidering that PMI-ACP may bring the career advantage to our professionals. What is different this time? First thing, it is more packaged program. Last time, it was just collection of ideas. They were giving you various books. You can prepare from it. And there was no consistency or a flow in the content. But this time, they are coming up with more packaged content. And with the help of PMI authorized education provider content, you also get a consistent flow to understand the whole material. And at the same time, PMI is also putting good amount of effort to make this brand PMI-ACP popular. So I think it will grow this time and you need to give little attention to it. Again, time will tell exactly. I think we come to know within 6 months time how the response is coming, but I am hoping this time it will do better. Now, some of the important questions. Who should do PMI-ACP? My understanding is the PMI-ACP is good for agile practitioners who are basically working in a service industry. You may end up doing various kind of agile roles. Sometimes you work as a scrum master, sometimes you work as an assistant to a product owner. You need to understand various aspects of agile, including the leadership, product management, as well as delivery. The PMI-ACP content is a mixture of that. It is basically focusing on someone who is like a team leader in Agile or Agile delivery lead, or maybe a project lead or a project manager who is intensively working with Agile-based approaches. If you are purely focusing on role like a Scrum Master or product owner and you are working in the organization where they practice Scrum, maybe doing PMI-ACP is not that great idea for you. But if you are working on those organizations where they follow mix of Agile approaches, they probably want to also have their own role definition rather than following the default roles of Scrum. Those places, the PMI-ACP is very important or very suitable. I would say the service organizations, service companies who work for others and they do projects and work in a different approaches. I think for those leaders, PMI-ACP is a good idea. The second question I'm looking at is, should I not do a CSM certification? What is the difference between PMI-ACP and CSM? So I think it connects with my previous conversation as well. The Certified Scrum Master program is one of the most popular programs when it comes to Scrum. And it is the program which is promoted by Scrum Alliance. We can also say scrum.org has an equivalent program which is called PSM. So you can consider CSM, PSM pretty much nearby. Now, PMI-ACP, the branding is not connected to pure Scrum, not connected to pure Scrum Master role. So if you want to brand yourself as an Agile practitioner, Agile leader, PMI-ACP is a great idea. If you want to stick to Scrum Master role, I think you should do Certified Scrum Master. The another difference here is the PMI-ACP also bring a rigor of exam. Yeah, the Certified Scrum Master or other programs, yeah, even though PSM has an exam, but it's from home, it is not bringing the authenticity of going into a Prometric based exam, whereas a PMI-ACP has that. But yes, as a brand value, I would say that people who are doing generic Agile work will be appreciating PMI-ACP more, and the organizations who are doing pure Scrum work, they might be looking for CSM certification. Now, the same extension could be PMI-ACP versus CSPO. So Certified Scrum Product Owner is basically for a product owner role. PMI-ACP does cover good amount of Certified Scrum Product Owner content. Yeah, because PMI-ACP covers CSM content, CSPO content, some amount of generic Agile and project management content, and some amount of coaching content as well. So it's a mixture of many things, and we will look into the content outline now. So if I'm comparing PMI-ACP with CSPO, I would say It's the same. If you are following Scrum purely and you want to stick to a Scrum product owner role, go for CSPO. It's a nice for your branding. But if you want to assist product owner, you are working in the organization where business analysis, requirement management comes as a part of your role as a leader, not necessarily you are a owner of the product. You may not be finalizing the priorities, but you will be talking to the stakeholder to finalize the priorities. But you are responsible for doing business analysis and requirement exploration. And that's what, as an agility lead, delivery lead, project lead, organization expect from you. That's why you are doing PMI-ACP. So you do cover the content of product exploration. The product is a domain in case of PMI-ACP, which is covering more than what you probably cover in a CSPO. But from a branding perspective, CSPO is a great idea when you are focusing on Scrum-oriented organization. Yeah. Now, a little difficult question, PMI-ACP versus PMP. So many will say that PMP also has Agile. Yes, PMP is also expecting you need to do Agile leadership role. So why should I do PMI-ACP? I can go for PMP. So my answer to that query, my view, is the PMP is the most popular certificate of PMI. And if you are focusing on leadership role at a project level, PMP definitely brings more branding. The PMI-ACP is a more depth-oriented certificate. So when I teach PMP, we cover PMP and we cover many concepts related to project management in the PMP certification, predictive lifecycle, adaptive lifecycle. The spread of the content is very wide in case of PMP certification, but the depth is not there. So we don't get into the deep of writing user stories. We don't get into the depth of focusing on the whole life cycle of user story working. We at a high level, we understand how possibly as a leader, I need to understand these user story kind of things works as an example. So the PMP gives you good spread. It helps you in understanding predictive, adaptive, but at a higher level, not at a depth level. Now, if you are working into an area where the depth of a particular thing is needed, say Agile is needed, then PMI-ACP could be a good add-on. You may be having that depth without having certificate as well. So from a branding perspective, PMP should be good enough, yeah, for you. But if you want to really demonstrate that I'm a deep in the Agile, then you can add on PMI-ACP to your existing PMP certification. If you have not yet done PMP and you are exploring PMI-ACP versus PMP, my recommendation is if you are working from a goal of getting into project management role, then PMP probably will give you more direct advantage. But if you are targeting the agility lead, delivery lead kind of roles, then PMI-ACP might be suitable because you are demonstrating your Agile experience. Yeah. In general, from a popularity perspective, PMP is definitely more than PMI-ACP, but you may want to see as per the time investment you want to put for preparation. PMP definitely required more time and energy in order to get certified. Now, somebody will ask me, PMI-ACP versus Scaled Agile certification, leading safe and all. So I would say there is no comparison. It is very different. The way I said CSM will be great if you are purely working in Scrum. Similarly, the Scaled Agile certifications are designed if you are purely working in Scaled Agile. The Scaled Agile is a particular way of bringing agility in the context of large team and large organizations. They have a scaling way of working, a particular way. It's not a generic way, which you learn. And if you're using SAFe, you are expected to follow that particular way of working. Now, while you are learning SAFe, you definitely end up learning the core concepts of Lean, Scrum, and other things, but you learn the way Scaled Agile interpret it, the way Scaled Agile fits into it. You don't learn it in the open space or with the open idea. Where when you go for PMI-ACP, you are learning the core concepts of Agile, Scrum, Lean, Kanban, the overall leadership, psychological safety, generically, which you can apply in a multiple context. So if your organization is looking for SAFe knowledge, go for SAFe. Yeah, PMI-ACP is not going to come there. But if you want to have a foundational Agile mindset, Agile delivery, Agile leadership, Agile product skills, then you add it with the help of PMI-ACP. So I would say at least the Scaled Agile has no much overlap with PMI-ACP. In case of CSM, the content we cover is pretty much covering the Scrum content as well as CSM and CSPO. There is a good amount of content overlap. But in case of PMI-ACP versus Scaled Agile, there is no much content overlap. Yes, Agile fundamentals and Lean fundamental may be a little bit covering it, but Scaled Agile is a particular framework which uses those fundamentals in the context of applying agility at a large scale. So we can put it like that. Now, sometimes since I do many Agile programs, people do ask me, What about PMI-ACP versus ICP-ACC, Agile coaching program? Because I want to do PMI-ACP to become a coach. So my answer is yes. Many people who do PMI-ACP, they wanted to get a wide understanding of Agile way of working. They want to develop deep skill in Agile, Scrum, Kanban, Lean, those kind of ideas. And they have an aspiration of going into coaching space as well. That's what I see many doing it. But when we focus on ICP, ACC Agile coaching program, we don't learn much about Agile fundamental there. There is no much focus on delivery and product in the ICP, ACC program. The domain which is about leadership and the mindset, especially the leadership, the domain of your PMI-ACP does overlap a little bit with PMI-ACP, ICP-ACC, but there is a good amount of spectrum. The ICP-ACC is all about the leadership section of your PMI-ACP, so it's a pretty different content. So you need to decide based on your aspirations. If you are aspiring to get into coaching, mentoring, enablement role, then you need to focus on ICP-ACC, but we are assuming that you already have those Agile fundamentals with you, with certification, without certification. So ICP-ACC is more like leadership space, where you are already done with your foundationals Agile content. So that's the whole idea about generically talking about PMI-ACP versus various certificate. Now let's get into the details of PMI-ACP by using the PMI website. So here I share the screen, and incidentally, as of now, their homepage is promoting PMI-ACP. So I like that. Yeah, they are putting good investment of on PMI-ACP. Now I can go to a certification, I can go to PMI-ACP and explore various details. Now, first thing people want to know, what is the price of PMI-ACP? Yeah, how much cost we have to pay? So you understand the different country has different pricing. But for India, you can find the pricing here because I'm watching this particular, I'm browsing this website from India. So I see this particular price. Now you might have noticed, some of you who are observing PMI-ACP content, the price has been reduced, yeah, significantly. Now let me tell you how. The earlier price, which is 1 month ago, they were focusing on the members price, and the non-member price was around 46,000, yeah, Indian rupees. Where you can say members, then you need to spend another 10,000 to get a member. So minimum you have to spend 35,000 to get PMI-ACP. That was till 1 month ago. But now you can directly pay without taking membership 28,454 and plus GST and get certified. So that's a significant reduction. I, along with other education provider, we really pursued PMI in the recent conference in Delhi to consider this, and fortunately they could consider it and bring this price down. So that's information to you that it is just around 29,000 plus GST to get certified using PMI ACP direct price without taking the membership. Now somebody will say, what I will miss if I'm not taking membership? I would say not much. Unlike PMP, there is no many content which you end up using for PMI ACP. Yes, there is an Agile practice guide which you get as a part of a membership advantage. So you take a call. If you go with a membership, it will be around 35,000 plus GST. If you go without membership, then it will be 28,000. If you are planning to do PMP, or if you have done PMP in the recent time and you have an active membership, then definitely you go with the members price. Yeah. So that's about price of doing PMI ACP. Now content. So I click here and I open up the exam content outline for your PMI ACP program. So here we see more details. It's a this month update. You know all this. And here they are explaining the 4 domains with the story and all. So we can say, yes, there is a revamp of domain. So we are focusing on learning Agile leadership and Agile practitioner work from a 4-dimension: mindset, leadership, product, and delivery. Yeah. And most of my conversation which I did before when I was comparing with the certification probably converge here. So these are the 4 area, they call it domain, which will be tested in the PMI ACP exam. Now to go further, there is a percentage distribution, but yeah, you know that there is a good focus on mindset. Yeah, that's something is very obvious. There is a good focus on leadership, and after that delivery. The product is something which is less focused as far as the current content outline is concerned. If you have been preparing for the old PMI ACP, as well as if you are doing CSM, CSPO, those kind of training, product and delivery will more or less will be the same, and good amount of Agile mindset is already covered. You may find more new content in the leadership space, but the product and delivery is something which you have been doing already. Yeah. So with your good understanding of CSM, CSPO, and Agile experience, most likely you can pass the exam directly and not much preparation will be needed because these concepts are pretty much common to you and the exam will be mainly situational based. So let's talk about more detail about these tasks. So you probably are aware that PMI creates list of tasks based on their survey and they believe these are the things Agile practitioners, leaders has to do. So in the mindset space, they are focusing on early releases, early delivery, continuous validation, inspect and adapt focus. They are focusing on Agile mindset, which is usually values, principles. The more focus is that complex adaptive system, Stacy matrix and Canefin. So these are little more explicitly set. I would say Stacy matrix was already part of your Agile practice guide, but this is little more. And focusing on understanding the complex adaptive system is little more explicitly made in the new content. Focusing on Agile suitability tools to understand when to apply Agile. I do see good amount of people remain confused. Going beyond Stacy matrix and probably using Agile suitability filter to interpret when the organization should use how much agility. So hybrid is the main thing, which is pretty much PMI-ACP unique proposition, and focus on various types of Agile model. How do you select them and how do you create Agile or hybrid space? Then the focus goes into promoting collaborative team environment. That's, I think, usual things, focusing on working with working agreement and getting up the team charter, ensuring that collaboration is there, ensuring the collaborative decision making and taking care of disagreements and moving forward. So that's the usual thing. Little bit explicit focus on working in a scale, little bit. So focusing on things like how do you create team of teams. Yeah, so that's also a principle in the program management standard where you work with team of teams, the way the Agile release trains are created. So there's a little bit focus there, and also focus on thinking of cross-team coordination with the help of Scrum meetings. So this is little bit extended focus when it's coming to collaborative team environment. Transparency, I would say the usual Agile things where focus on continuous transparency using information radiator, various aspects of your work. Now, fostering psychological safety, I would say this is little more explicit focus. It was not there before. So that something is a like a leadership part, though it is coming in the mindset, but it is focusing on how do you create a psychological safe environment for your team so that they move towards high performing stage. So this is a little new content which is coming in the PMI-ACP now. Focusing on feedback loops, more explicit focus on lean startup and design thinking as an idea, focusing on creating the minimum viable product and continuously taking feedback, and those kind of things are also added here. Yeah. Focusing on clear mindset, yeah, so growth mindset kind of stuff, yeah, and embracing change. More focus on growing people into generalized specialists, so that kind of content has been added. Focusing on handling the change in the more constructive manner, that's adaptation. That part is also added in the mindset. So it's more comprehensive if we compare with the previous one, especially the mindset and leadership portion. And this is your PMI-ACP exam content outline. I would say mindset is more aligned to a leadership role as a coach in the Agile world, as a delivery leader in the Agile world. You probably need to have the more depth of these mindset. And then it comes to leadership. Some amount of reflection of the mindset will continue, focusing on empowering team, focusing on understanding training, mentoring, coaching, their differences, when to do training, when to do mentoring, overall understanding of how do you create collective ownership, yeah, how do you motivate the team and enable them to self-organize, how do you build trust. So those kind of things has been added, which are usually the coaching topics in the Agile world. So emotional intelligence has been added in a significant manner, focusing on helping the team to doing self-assessment, so personality assessments and working together, interpreting each other's personalities as well as building trust is something which has been added here. So a little more focus on emotional intelligence, which is also there in our PMP exam. So if you have been through PMP exam and focusing on this portion, if you have done recently PMP preparation, is also covered in the PMP exam, because there also we need to empower the team. So this section is a little more focused. Now, facilitate problem resolution. Yeah, facilitation skills by using various problem solving tools. Yeah, something it was there before, but more focused. Promoting overall knowledge sharing, yeah, with the help of community of practices, establishing practices of lesson learned, doing various initiatives to ensure continuation of the knowledge, continue transitioning the product knowledge. So those kind of things has been added here more explicitly, more organized content. Then promote Agile mindset principles and practice connected with the previous one, yeah, and then overall focusing on promoting the vision and the purpose. So creating motivation with the help of big thinking, the system thinking, that kind of continuous communication of the big picture is something stressed upon, and working with the conflict is always there in our any leadership program. So in my personal opinion, the topic 1 and topic 2, which is mindset and leadership, is more focusing on making you as a delivery leader, as a coach to your delivery team, which is more explicitly mentioned here, which may not be available in your generic Scrum trainings, which you probably attend. Yeah, so that's the little clear focus. Product and delivery, I would say mostly if you go for these Scrum trainings as well. So, but there will be a little focus on lean aspect, which might not be there. So here we focus on product. So overall backlog refinement, managing increments, you create various things, visualizing work. So little addition of it, manage value delivery, ensuring success criteria, customer satisfaction, some kind of matrices to see what is happening at the result level. So this all is coming under product. And then we have a delivery. So we have only 4 tasks which are associated with product. Basically focusing on understanding the user persona, coming up with a user story, managing them in a backlog refinement, ensuring the incremental releases, ensuring there is a continuous flow of work. Now you will say, where user story is written, why are you talking about it? So there is a tools and technique at the bottom where they have mentioned it. We need to map those things carefully here, but that's a product which you probably already know. And then the delivery, I would say that you already probably know if you are familiar with Agile. So how do you ensure feedbacks? Matrices little explicitly more focused here. So various types of matrices, where to use when, and how the matrix supports your decision making. How do you manage risk and impairment little more explicitly. Recognizing and eliminating waste. So lean concepts will be coming here. So you visualize the value added and non-value added item, focusing on continuous improvement, engaging customers continuously, and optimizing the flow. So you understand usually the Scrum Master's leader's role is associated with improving the flow, growing the team, continuously improving it, facilitating lesson learned. That part is coming more clearly here. So if you have done some amount of Agile training before, so product and delivery will be, I think, super familiar to you. The only thing which might be different is the mindset and the leadership. Then they have some tools and techniques which are usually mapped to product and delivery. They are usually mainly matching with the old list also which you have it. But yes, there is a list of things which can help us in making the story better. So hopefully it gives you an idea. And you can definitely find this content directly going to PMI website, and this thing will get tested in your PMI-ACP. So what we have covered, we covered generic conversation about PMI-ACP, then we got into the details of the detailed content outline of PMI-ACP by now. Now a little forward, and let's focus on eligibility criteria and other stuff. So PMI's eligibility criteria, there is a little change here. So the interesting thing is, now content is extended. I personally feel it is 25% extended, and it is mainly extended in the leadership direction. Yeah, and that is also bringing the differentiator in PMI-ACP, and that's why I probably want to sell it again. Yeah, because that time I was recently refocusing on PMI-ACP now. So that's an addition which I believe is a value add. Now, because of that 25% addition, they are saying in order to make sure that you really get it, you need to spend 28 hours of formal training. So say 7 hours of 4 sessions rather than just 3. Yeah. So 28 hours of formal education is needed. Yeah. And the PMI has their own authorized education provider program, which can help you in acquiring those 28 hours, where you get the content exactly designed for these all 4 domain. And it is a very nicely crafted story content. It really helps you in understanding the whole aspects in a better manner, and definitely helps you in getting certified. But I personally believe certification is not the goal. You probably want to develop those competency, which helps you in establishing yourself as an Agile leader. So it's a 28 hours of content. Now, little relaxation for a transitioning period. They are saying if you have a 21 hours, or if you are right now enrolled to someone with 21 hours, or maybe you still want to go to some e-learning program which gives you a 21 hours, you can continue doing that. Yeah. But the only condition is you need to fill your application by 31st March 2025. So by 31st March, you can submit your application with the 21 contact hours as well, and which will be considered for your review and approval process. So it's up to you. You may want to do self-study and do use 21 hours of it. Afterwards, it will be a 28 hours. I hope you understand that after filling and submitting the application, and once your application gets approved, you still get a 1 year time to get certification. So actually, it is not like that you have to give exam by March. Yeah, definitely it's good if you give the exam by March, but you still have a 1 year time after application get approved. Yeah. But the exam is already testing you in the 4 dimensions. The exam is already aligned to the new content outline. You prepare using the old idea and your self-study and go for exam, or you do with the help of new PMI content. That is your choice. But exam is anyway got updated in this particular month itself. Now about experience, I would say that most of you who are watching this video, especially our client, you don't face any problem in the experience. So they are saying 2 years of Agile experience in the last 5 years. Definitely you will have it. You can ignore the Global Accreditation Center, which is not that much available for us in India. They are saying if you have a 1-year-old any third-party Agile certificate like CSM, CSPO, or Leading Safe kind of thing, then you just demonstrate 1 year of Agile experience. Yeah, so that's the thing. The certificate should be active. I asked that question and they modified it after that. The certification should be active and it should be earned 1 year ago. Yeah, more than 1 year ago. That's the only condition. So that is also a possibility. If you have done PMP and it's active, you don't have to show your Agile experience. Now it looks a little easy, but I would say, yeah, it's a small thing. If you're a PMP certified, definitely you can write a 10 minutes experience about Agile also for last 2 years, but they give you a flexibility not to talk about your experience. Your application process will become faster. I was hoping they give a little relaxation in the learning space if you are a PMP certified, which is not there though, yeah, because a good percentage of especially product and delivery part we cover in PMP as well. Good percentage of leadership part we cover in a PMP, but maybe mindset, yeah, mindset is not that deep that covered in the PMP content. So yeah, so PMP certified people don't have to talk about experience. They can directly go ahead and submit the application just by putting the experience, contact hours, and contact hours till 31st March. You can apply using the current 21 contact hours as well. So I think this is it. This is the whole perspective of doing PMI-ACP. If you have specific queries which you believe I can help, put in a comment. I will look into it and reply as per best of my knowledge. And my personal opinion is you should only do a certification when you see an alignment with your career progression. If you see this thing can help you in growing, then why not? But if you are just thinking of it, probably you find more alignment with your professional growth and give this particular PMI-ACP as a thought. Yeah.